The two pillars of home practice: loving kindness and mindfulness. When life feels full but the heart feels empty. In a time when technology has made our lives faster, easier, and more efficient, many people still find themselves feeling deeply restless. We live in the age of convenience: groceries delivered with a tap, conversations held without speaking, entire careers launched from laptops. We can scroll through lives in seconds, book a flight to the other side of the world, or build a financial empire from a single screen. Yet, for many, a simple thing like a peaceful night's sleep remains elusive. A genuine smile that softens the face? Rare. A family dinner where everyone is fully present, not just physically but emotionally? Even rarer. People today can afford expensive beds but struggle to find rest. They dine in luxury restaurants but cannot digest the bitterness within. They accumulate followers, friends, fans, and yet feel lonelier than ever. The irony of this age is that the more we fill our lives with things, the more we feel empty inside. The question that won't let us go. Every now and then, a quiet question rises, often late at night, or in a pause between chaos. What am I really living for? For some, it comes after the death of a loved one. For others, it comes after achieving what they thought would make them happy: the job, the car, the house, the recognition, only to feel strangely hollow. And for many, it comes quietly, without warning, like a shadow that stretches when the sun begins to set. This question is not a sign of weakness. It is a whisper from your deeper self, the one that hasn't forgotten the truth. The misunderstanding of practice. For centuries, spiritual practice has been misunderstood as something distant, something for monks in saffron robes, or for those who have renounced the world and live in temples, far from the noise of daily life. But let us challenge this idea right now. True practice is not about leaving the world. It is about not letting the world leave you behind. To practice is to remember yourself, to come home, not in space, but in awareness. You don't need to shave your head or wear robes. You don't need to quit your job or walk away from your family. You simply need to return to your breath, your heart, your inner stillness. That is where real practice begins. Why home practice is no longer optional. In a world drowning in noise, stress, expectations, and endless comparison, home practice is no longer a luxury. It is a lifeline. Without a spiritual anchor, we are vulnerable to everything: the stress of work, the demands of parenting, the unpredictability of finances, the pressures of success, the confusion of relationships, the fear of loss and aging. We become like leaves in a storm, blown here and there, reacting, surviving, losing ourselves. But when we have a place to return to within, a sacred space of mindfulness and loving kindness, the winds may blow, but we are not uprooted. We remain steady. Home practice is not just a personal choice. In today's world, it is a spiritual necessity. You don't have to be perfect to begin. There is a myth that you have to be calm, peaceful, and enlightened to start practicing, that you must first fix your flaws before you can qualify for a spiritual life. But that's like saying you need to be healthy before you go to the doctor. You begin wherever you are. Even in your exhaustion. Even in your confusion. Even in your pain. Especially in your pain. That moment when your heart breaks is the perfect moment to bow. That moment when you feel lost is the perfect moment to sit still. That moment when you're ready to give up is the moment the true path appears. An invitation, not an instruction. This book, this journey, is not a rulebook. It is an invitation. It is an offering to the part of you that is tired of pretending, tired of surviving, tired of ignoring the deep call inside that says, there must be more to life than this. There is. There always has been. And it begins not by going anywhere, but by coming home. This chapter, and all those that follow, are meant to support you in finding your own sacred ground, right where you are. You will not be asked to become someone you're not. You will not be forced to believe anything. You will simply be asked to remember the truths you already know, buried beneath the distractions of modern life. What if you could live with a clear mind and a soft heart? Pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you wish. Ask yourself, what would my life be like if my mind were clear and my heart were soft? Just imagine. Responding to challenges with calm instead of anger. Speaking from compassion instead of fear. Raising your children with patience and presence. Going to work with purpose instead of pressure. Ending your day with gratitude instead of regret. This is the fruit of spiritual practice. And you don't need to wait a lifetime to experience it. You just need to begin. The Four Noble Truths in Everyday Life. You don't need to escape suffering, you need to understand it. 1. The first truth: life contains suffering. No one is exempt from sorrow. Even the wealthy man who sleeps on a feather mattress may toss and turn all night. Even the successful entrepreneur with millions in the bank may wake up feeling anxious, directionless. This is Koda, the truth of suffering. It is not a pessimistic view. It is a courageous one. To acknowledge that life is sometimes painful, that expectations often fall short, that health fades, that relationships strain, is not to give up hope. It is to begin walking with open eyes. When you stop pretending things should always be perfect, you become more peaceful. You stop blaming life for being life. You stop resenting your pain, and begin learning from it. Whether it's the worry of paying bills, the ache of losing someone, or the emptiness after achieving a goal that didn't fulfill you, all of it belongs. To suffer is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are alive. What matters is not whether suffering arises, but how you respond to it. 2. The second truth: suffering has causes. This is Tapta, the cause of suffering. In Buddhism, we name them clearly: tam, san, si, greed, anger, delusion. Greed wants more, always more. A bigger house, a newer phone, a more perfect partner. Anger arises when things don't go our way. We snap, lash out, or suppress our emotions. Delusion is simply forgetting who we really are. It's mistaking our job, our looks, or our reputation for our true self. These three roots quietly fuel most of our pain. They whisper lies like, if you just had this one more thing, you'd finally be happy. If people just listened to you, you wouldn't feel so upset. If you control everything, you'll never be hurt again. But they only deepen our suffering, like scratching an itch that becomes a wound. When you begin to see the roots, you can begin to pull them out. 3. The third truth: suffering can end. This is Dhyata, the truth that freedom is possible. Buddhism is not just about describing the storm. It is about showing you how to reach the shore. Yes, life has suffering. Yes, it has causes. But here's the gift: you are not stuck. The pain you carry, the grief, the regret, the restlessness, does not have to define the rest of your life. How? Not by escaping to a cave. Not by forcing yourself to be positive. But by gently, consistently transforming your mind, one breath, one step, one day at a time. As they Thich Nhat Hanh often said, no mud, no lotus. You don't need to get rid of the mud. You just need to learn how to grow from it. 4. The fourth truth: there is a path to freedom. This is Tao Te, the Eightfold Path. It is not a philosophy for the elite. It is not reserved for monks or scholars. It is a map for daily life, for mothers, fathers, students, workers, elders, for anyone who wants to walk with wisdom. The Eightfold Path includes right view Chan Kien, seeing clearly. Right intention Chan Tu Dui, thinking kindly. Right speech Chan Ge, speaking truthfully. Right action Chan Engip, acting ethically. Right livelihood Chan Mang, working honestly. Right effort Chan Tin Tan, cultivating positive habits. Right mindfulness Chan Nim, being present. Right concentration Chan Din, deepening focus. This is not a ladder you must climb perfectly. It's a circle, and you can step in anywhere. If you can speak with more kindness today, that is the path. If you can pause and breathe before reacting, that is the path. If you can wash the dishes while smiling, that is the path. Spirituality isn't something you do on Sundays, or only on the cushion. It's something you do with every breath, every word, every glance. For example, in a small village nestled between rice fields and dusty roads in southern Vietnam, there lived a man named Min, a simple farmer in his 50s. He wasn't a scholar. He didn't read sutras or quote Buddhist scriptures. In fact, most people thought he wasn't religious at all. But Min had something rare: consistency and compassion. Every morning, before the sun rose, he would light a single incense stick at his humble altar and bow silently 3 times. He didn't recite aloud. He didn't ask for blessings. He simply bowed, in gratitude, in humility, and in stillness. His wife was often short-tempered. His son, recently back from the city, was arrogant and frustrated, blaming the world for his failed business. The family dynamic was tense, loud, and chaotic. But Min didn't preach. He didn't argue. He simply practiced in silence. When his wife scolded, he listened without raising his voice. When his son slammed doors or rolled his eyes, Min quietly swept the courtyard. When meals were eaten in silence or stress, he added more vegetables to the pot, and still offered the biggest portion to his boy. At first, no one noticed. But over weeks and months, something began to change. His wife yelled less. His son stayed home more. One day, the boy sat down beside him and asked softly, "Ba, why do you never get angry?" Min didn't answer with philosophy. He didn't give a Dharma talk. He simply said, "Because I used to get angry all the time. It never helped." And then he smiled. That one sentence broke the tension of many years. This is what home practice looks like. Not loud. Not dramatic. But deeply transformative. Min did not convert his family with words. He inspired them by being a living example of patience, mindfulness, and metta, loving kindness. No temple. No robe. No retreat. Just breath. Just kindness. Just presence, day after day. Home is a sacred ground, if you bring light into it. The story of Min is not unique. There are thousands of lay practitioners like him, mothers, fathers, grandmothers, workers, retirees, who carry the Dharma silently, with no title, no fame, and no recognition. They practice. In how they cook. In how they listen. In how they breathe before speaking. In how they forgive even when it's hard. This is true practice at home, not to become famous. Not to gain merit, but to live each day without harming, with deep awareness, and with steady love. A reminder before the ending. If you've ever wondered, can I really practice while raising kids? Can I still walk the path while working full-time? Can I be spiritual without leaving the world? The answer is yes. You already have what you need. You have a heart that longs for peace. You have moments of clarity. You have suffered, and you're still here. And you've read this far, which means something inside you already knows. There is more to life than surviving. It's time to begin living, deeply, mindfully, lovingly.